Hey everybody, it's Stuart Breeding with Fit Lab. Today's tutorial is going to be looking at a systematic progression of exercise intensity variables, how somebody could use this website and begin to create their own programs and keep from being over or under trained. So the key is always moving in and out of different energy systems. We in the business use a term called periodization, which will be another tutorial later on, but I just want to look at a basic overview of how somebody could set up their own programs using this website. And of course, it would never replace personal one-on-one coaching, but wanted to give people just a general idea about how they could begin to progress in and out of different energy systems, intensity variables, to minimize the effects of overtraining and also undertraining. So if we look at a systematic progression, whether I am sedentary, I haven't been exercising at all, or let's say I've been training straight for a year and I'm looking to set up a new program for myself. No matter which side of the coin you're on, every exercise program should begin with extensive testing. And it just depends on how extensive you want to get. We offer metabolic testing, so we can look at how your body is metabolizing body fats over sugars. We use a polar age assessment. We use strength, flexibility, muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance testing in that protocol. A lot of people, a more intense athlete, will look at VO2, and science is kind of out on VO2 max, submax testing. But by all means, no matter what level you're at, the more information you have in the beginning before you set your program up, obviously the better off it's going to be. If you don't know where you are, you won't know how far you can go. So testing in the beginning is very important. So if we look at a basic progression of how I would want to begin to exercise, once again, either from sedentary or I've been training for a year and I'm starting a new exercise program. If we look at the NASM OPT model, every exercise program is going to start with a basic progression looking at stabilization endurance first. So stabilization endurance is basically we're trying to activate the nervous system. We're trying to get every joint in the body, the whole human movement system, more efficient neurologically, so that I can begin to sustain more intensity as I train, either with load, repetitions, any number of variables. Intensity is multiple things. So stabilization would be, let's just say I take an exercise progression. I take a basic squat and I do my squat. Now I've gotten pretty good at it. My body dynamics are good, my mechanics are good, my joints are stable in that movement. How would I progress that? Do I progress that by getting on a leg press? Well, in this phase of training, the answer would be no. What I would look to do is maybe I would stabilize, maybe I would take that exercise and I would stand on a half foam roller and do a squat. Or I would stand on a bow suit and do a squat. So my progression in this phase, the way I increase intensity variables is to increase the amount of proprioception or difficulty balancing. And that goes for every specific joint. Every joint has exercises of degression to progression where I can increase the variable of intensity through proprioception or balance. That phase of training, depending on who's doing it, should last anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. If we look at moving out of that progression, we're going into more of strength endurance training. So in this phase, what one would do is take a basic exercise. Let's just say the bench press. So my primary movers are my chest, shoulder, tricep. What I would do is do a superset. Now a superset is always basically pointing towards grouping 2 exercises together, basically back to back. So I would go from this bench press to, say, a stability ball push-up. And forcing my primary movers to deal with more proprioception. So I have an opportunity to strengthen them, and I have an opportunity to increase the proprioception, the ability of those joints to handle more intensity or more load neurologically.